Hi guys, this is Anna DeLopo. I'm a licensed acupuncturist, and today I want to be talking about, we're going to talk about self-worth and feeling comfortable in your skin and accepting yourself for who you are. And I decided to talk about this because um, there are some things going on in our society, and I have, like many acupuncturists and other types of healthcare practitioners, I have a unique um, perspective, especially as an acupuncturist, because people come in with all kinds of issues. They come in for all kinds of health issues like neck, back, some autoimmune issues, fertility issues, pregnancy issues, digestive issues, lower back issues, you name it. There's probably a patient like that or similar to that issue that you can think of. Ringing in the ears, tinnitus. I get all kinds of issues. But there's one particular issue that we call in our society as mental health disturbances. I like to call them emotional health disturbances for a variety of reasons. But whatever you want to call it, mental or emotional health, there are many people coming in for these issues. And at any given time, I would say 60 to 80% of almost every day, people come into with some level of stress, anxiety, or depression. And the reason why I want to talk about this today is because I have some really beautiful people who are physically attractive. They're just super attractive and they don't see it. And I'm going to speak specifically to women, but this also applies to men. Um, I have a particular young lady who's in her early 30s who's just drop dead gorgeous. And when she wakes up in the morning, she always has to look at her abs. And if she doesn't see abs, she has a very hard day. And this is beyond, I don't want you to think that she's narcissistic because that's definitely not the case. It's not accepting for who she is, not accepting herself for who she is. In the last several months, I've had a few women come in very young, early 20s, up until their 50s, who got some stuff done to their face, to their faces. And it's astonishing to me because they are perfect. Their faces are, they're just beautiful. Now they come in and they have, they're paralyzed on one side, or, and it's because of as a side effect of what the procedures were. And I'm not going to name the procedures, and this is not to down any particular procedures. My point is that when I looked at their before pictures, before their procedures to make themselves more beautiful, they were just gorgeous and perfect. And I, and they look back and they're like, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. They saw something online that, was a really well done advertisement and they bought into it. And good for the people who did the advertisement because now they're very, very busy with all these people who want to improve upon their looks. And but when you look at their pictures, what happened, what they look like before, they were just fine. They were perfect. They're like star quality, like Hollywood star quality. They're just perfect. And then there was a side effect and now they're paralyzed. And I worked with some of these women, we got like the results that we wanted, but they're still nitpicking on things that's, like their bodies are not perfect, their faces are not perfect, their hair is not perfect. And this just, like, honestly, I want to say almost breaks my heart because to what degree do you need to be in order to accept yourself? And I have so many things to do right now. The last thing I need to do is another video on a Monday morning because I just posted my 70th video. But today I feel really compelled to sharing this message that you are perfect. And I've said this probably at least 10 times now, and I hope this gets the message across. You don't need to, I don't even know if I should say you don't even need to look a certain way because you already look that way. If you were to see this particular woman who just gets very upset at herself if she doesn't see these abs, you would wonder why. Because you have the figure, you have the face, and even if you don't have the figure, it's okay. And I know what it's like to have an eating disorder. And I did a video, the last, I think number 65 or number 68 was my vlog on eating disorder. I healed from that many years ago. From 94 to 96, I lost 48 pounds. I lost 5 sizes. 10 pounds is about a size. And I talked about that. And then, I lost about 60 pounds with my first child who was born in 2004, and about 45, 50 pounds with my child who's 7, who's turning 8 next month. And then at 43 years old, I had a baby 7 months ago and have to rework. I have to work again at making my body slimmer to where I want it to be. But it's not going to kill my day. It's not going to ruin my day if I wake up and I'm like, this is not how I want to look. Yeah, I have those moments like, oh my gosh, I got to start all over again. But not to the point where I used to be depressed and anxious. And I'm not going to sit here and make you feel like, I'm holier than thou and you should think like me. It took a long time for me to get to a point where I really accept myself for who I am. And I really think I'm great. Because these are the words that I started learning in my first personal development class when I was 17. I'm 44 now. I took one of my classes that were required as a freshman at University of San Francisco was saying to myself in front of a mirror, I love myself for who I am great. It was very difficult back then because I had a lot of dysfunction in my life up until then that I describe on my websites and I describe in another story. So I'm not going to approach that here. I'm not going to talk about those here. But it was that little statement, I love myself who I am great, has helped me. And it had catapulted me in a direction of attracting more different types of personal development type classes. In fact, I belong to a club that's that I call my Global Success Club, but it really has helped me understand who I am and accepting myself for who I am and reach for particular goals in my business life, in my personal life, and in health, in finances, in my relationships, and it really helps me. But honestly, you don't need an organization to help you understand that you are perfect. Now, maybe if you're like me, you might need to be around other people who are like-minded that can help you feel like you're goal-oriented. But if you don't need to belong to an organization, just to understand, you know what, you're fine just the way you are. So stop comparing yourself to magazines. Stop comparing yourself to this ideal. I mean, there are people with millions of dollars in the bank who are killing themselves. And that really breaks my heart. Or people who are just drop dead gorgeous and not accepting themselves for who they are because they're not, they don't look like the magazines and they're being photoshopped anyways, or they're edited and they're making you feel like, this is how you should look. And you already look that way. Or even if you don't, you're beautiful in so many ways. You don't have to be a certain size. If you are 10 pounds overweight or 100 pounds overweight, you know what? If you're happy with where you are, then be happy there and contribute the best that you can to the planet. If you feel like you want to lose weight, then work towards it. Work towards that goal and just know that every day in every way you are getting better. If it means that in a month you'll lose a pound, then so be it. If you feel like, you want some particular work done on your face, think first. Think first before you really do some massive work on your face. And ask the people around you, do you think I'm pretty? Before you spend hundreds, if not thousands. And really pay attention to what particular side effects can happen. I think my daughters are beautiful. And if they came to me and they said, I want this done to my face at 20 years old, I would probably say, hold off on it. Now they're adults. They would be adults at that time. They can make their own decisions. But I've learned over the years to just look at who I am and accept my nose and accept my eyes and accept my mouth. I remember when I was younger, I used to not like my nose and I just thought, I wish I had like a straight nose. I used to not like my height, but I can't do anything about my height. I used to not like, the fact that I didn't have the perfect cheekbones. And I would look at magazines or I'd look at Caucasian people and be like, oh, I want those cheekbones. I wish I was white. Or I get my eyebrows done every month. I get threaded, and I like how my eyebrows look, and I can tell when they need to be done. But I'm not going to lose my sanity if I don't get them done in a couple of weeks. Um, there are certain things about me that, I've been having gray hair since I was around 10 years old, and I dye my hair because I don't want to look like I'm a grandma. But you know what? If I go weeks on or a month without doing my hair and I have the gray, it's not going to kill me. It is who I am. And I choose to do it for myself, not for everyone else around me. So, and I can live with it, and there's no side effects. I've been dyeing my hair for a long time. There are no side effects, and I take supplements. But you know what? The grays, genetics, and it's okay. It's okay that I'm shorter than I want to be. But this is attitude that I have towards towards how I look took a long time for me to accept. And so I hope that this reaches at least one person out there who feels that you're not worthy in how you look, because you are. It doesn't matter how much money you have or you don't have. Learn to live with where you're at, and if you want to be better, work towards it. If you want a better body, don't feel badly about your body. Work towards it. Do what you got to do. It's free to run. You don't have to belong to a gym. You can run. You can go to Target and get some weights and do something 10 times. If you want to work with a trainer and you don't have the money, then try to barter or work more to be able to afford a trainer. If you're the kind of person like me that needs to be at a gym, then work towards that. It's as simple as that. Just whatever you want, work towards it. But don't make any drastic changes to yourself. And every time you look at every time you look at yourself in the mirror, tell yourself, you know what? I'm perfect the way I am. I really am perfect the way I am. So I hope this kind of, reaches out to some of you to help you understand that where you are today is just fine. And life doesn't have to be perfect. My daughter, she applied for OSHA for next year for Orange County School of the Arts, and she didn't get accepted. And you know what I said to her? Where do you want to celebrate tonight? Because I wasn't going to make her feel like she was behind the eight ball on something that, she's still going to go to an amazing high school. She's going to go to a different high school, and if she wants to apply again next year, she can. And I wasn't going to sit there and say, well, what could you have done better? You know what? That's where she was at the time, and maybe there weren't enough spots. Maybe what they were looking for was not for her, was not her. Who knows? But I wasn't going to sit there and make her feel like she wasn't worthy. So we celebrated. I said, you dance 10 hours a week. Are you less of a dancer? She said, no. I said, all right. I said, you play violin. It's so what if you don't play at the same level as everyone else does? Do all these you dance 10 hours a week. You're a great dancer. That's who you are. And you do all these other things. And your first chair in your violin orchestra at school. It's okay. It's okay if she doesn't play at that same level as everyone else because they're not doing other things. But my point is helping her understand that just because she didn't get accepted this one time doesn't mean that she can't get accepted again. And I gave her examples of my own life where I didn't get accepted the first time and I tried again and then I got accepted. And I just kept working at it. And the thing that I feel is the biggest part of my own personal success is just because someone said no the first time doesn't mean that they won't say yes again and yes another time. Or maybe they'll always say no to me. But that doesn't mean that what I have to offer won't be accepted by other people. It took me a long time to become a really busy acupuncturist. It really did. And this is probably the first Monday that I can remember where I'm slower than usual because usually I'm super, super busy. But this is the last week of school and for us, and a lot of people are in summer break and a lot of my patients are parents. So you know what? But I'm super busy tonight and I'm busy for the rest of the week and my schedule's usually really packed. So this is my opportunity to do something else. I'm not going to be sad about it. That's a common thread that I see in my practice. That if someone doesn't hit their particular goals with how they look, with the money in the bank, with their relationships, someone wants to divorce them, or their spouse wants to divorce them, or their kids are not doing what they want to do, what they're not in agreement with where the kids are. It just kills their day. And it's one thing to feel that way once in a while. It's another thing to feel like, you know what, it's just this one day and we can move forward. It's taken me a long time and a lot of mentoring to understand that things are cool and who I am is perfect. And I can have higher goals and I can work towards them. And I hope some of you really, really hear this message, because the way you look is perfect. The way your body is perfect. And don't let anyone tell you any differently. Please don't let anyone tell you any differently. Don't do anything drastic. Have your goals, work towards them, and just tell yourself, I'm doing the best that I can, and I'm perfect the way I am. So what's the point of having a relationship if you can't accept yourself for who you are? Because I can tell you this. If you don't accept yourself for who you are, there's no way you can accept everyone else for who they are. You just can't. But if you can love yourself and accept yourself for who you are and just know there's perfection in your imperfections, then you can look at someone else and look at their imperfections and say, you're perfect just the way you are. Your waist is perfect, your thighs are perfect, your eyes are perfect, your hair is perfect. Just who you are is perfect. And we're always wanting other people to do things a certain way. Well, then why don't we just work on ourselves first? And I promise you, everyone else around you is going to get better. But at the end of the day, no one really needs to get better. We're just fine the way we are. The better are nice goals to achieve. And the happier we are with ourselves, this may sound really like, cliche, but the happier you are with yourself, I promise you, the happier you're going to be with everyone around you. Things don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have the perfect car, the perfect house, the perfect birth, the perfect health, the perfect everything. Just live with what you have and be happy with where you're at and work towards the better if that's what you want. And I promise you, you will feel happier. And for my young lady, my young patient who is just drop dead gorgeous, who's not happy with herself if she doesn't see abs in the morning, I hope that one day you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, without even looking at your abdomen, because that's the first thing she does in the morning, or you not even look at yourself in the morning in the mirror and just say, I feel so happy. I feel so happy. And, that's all that matters. Before I let you go, someone's dad had passed away in my daughter's class a couple of weeks ago. And when we put in that perspective, realize everything's perfect. Everything's perfect. Nothing else matters. Just appreciate being alive and appreciate what you have and appreciate the love around you. And if you're really feeling anxious or depressed or like life isn't worth living, I promise you, there's help out there. And so when I say that my heart breaks for this family, it does. And I really feel sad when I see people, when I find out that people kill themselves because they just felt lonely. And I've been there. And I'm glad that I've healed, and I'm glad that I've moved forward so I can help people, because that's really what it's about. So I hope that you find peace and solace in who you are and everything around you. There's beauty everywhere you are. But the first place you must find beauty is in yourself. All right. On that note, I hope you have a great day, a wonderful week. My daughter graduates from 8th grade from middle school this Saturday. She's been at her school since kindergarten. And I'm so proud of you, Angeline. You are a remarkable, remarkable young lady. And I love you for who you are. You are great. I love you and your sister and your brother for who you are. You are great.